what we do have this year is the Rural Schools Partnership, where we've got several funding tracks where we really want groups to work together with local communities and local schools, and we think that conservation education really falls right under the whole place-based education concept.
One thing I was thinking of is, we have a small prairie, a 38-acre prairie, but a beautiful little prairie down between Springfield and Bolivar. So it's close to Springfield and close to Bolivar. And I'm wondering if maybe we could get some grants to spend money to develop that, to help the, for school, trips or outdoors education type things for Bolivar schools and Springfield schools, and spend some money, establishing it.
Well, and the Greenways Trail goes, you're talking
right
about
through
Lapeet Gym, right? And we actually,
right
Greenways has a $10,000 challenge grant actually for trail maintenance and trail sustainability in Polk County. They're part of this program too. We've put a new fund together with the Bolivar Area Community Foundation, where Don Willard, the barber, is the chairman of that group. And but Terry Whaley and I are close friends and have worked together, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Just real quickly, what we're doing with the Rural Schools Partnership is we believe that in small communities and in smaller towns or rural places, that schools, and many of them are public schools, but we are working with some faith schools as well. They're really critical in terms of economic development and community development. And we do believe that rural places, that there's a new dawn out there, that there's some trends and demographics which I think over time, I think conservation issues and environmental stewardship certainly lead to a more relevant rural landscape. And so we felt the timing was right to do this. And so we're trying to do three things with our Rural Schools Partnership. We're trying to increase philanthropic support for education in small communities by developing and working with school foundations, getting donors. We're also trying to get rural schools, and many of them do this very, very well, but to understand the value of partnerships and collaboration and leverage, and that's what you're talking about. Groups can work together to educate kids better, to engage kids in the community. And then capping that is this whole notion of supporting place-based education. And I am an educator, and I believe very strongly that kids learn by getting out and doing things. That's really what American education and John Dewey was based upon. And I think they develop a stronger sense of place when we get them actively involved in their surroundings. And they become stakeholders, and they become stewards. And we have some wonderful programs that I would encourage you to look at. The big grant program that we've got, which if you might want to think about this, is we do have $150,000 per year. We've received a commitment of about a $3.3 million private foundation that's going to participate in this program, and that's going to support place-based education efforts. So that would be, for instance, and I'll just throw something out, if you could get the Bolivar schools, and you could get, let's say there's, you've also got Fair Play up there, you've got Morrisville up there, and you could get some sort of outdoor learning experience, which would require some transportation, would require some facilitation, but getting kids to get engaged out there and take some ownership of that, whether it was some kind of like almost a youth corps. I mean, there's all sorts of things you could do, but that's the type of project that you could fund. We also, though, have youth leadership grants, which are available, and these are smaller grants, probably in the $1,000, and we have a youth conservation grant program. Again, we're smaller grants where we're looking for student-driven projects, and so there's opportunities. For instance, if in Bolivar, if you could get a group of kids who would say, hey, we're going to go out once a month and we're going to make sure trash is picked up, whatever type of things need to be done there, we even have staff that would come out and monies to support that. Now, the only thing about these monies on the Rural School Partnership is that we do require that the school district have ownership is involved in a partner. That's the one requirement that we have. I mean, we're obviously trying to drive this and get the schools engaged. So we're open to ideas, and we do have some discretionary funds that are outside of our grant rounds on the Rural School Partnership. And one thing that you guys might think about, and you probably have the capacity to do it, is, for instance, we're partnering with the Missouri Conservation Heritage Foundation, and that grant strand has $10,000 a year to support mini grants for those student-driven conservation projects. We would be very open and excited about looking at some funding that would encourage kids to get involved in prairie education. I mean, I understand the limitations of prairie restoration. I'm not trying to oversimplify that, but I know where my daughter goes to school, they do these prairie plots, and it cuts down on the mowing, and it's attractive, and kids learn about native grasses. I mean, there's all sorts of ways that we could work with you on